Alright guys, today we have a new game. This is Motorcycle Mechanic Simulator 2021. Pretty sweet game, and we get to build our own bike and test it. We get a test ride at the end. Pretty sweet. And I did play a little bit just to get a feel for the game. And so we start a new one here. You can play in normal or sandbox mode. We do choose sandbox because it was easier for the video because you have the money and you really don't have to grind. Now, when you first get into the game, I'm not a pro at this, but I just went to the auction and you get a bunch of different bikes you can bid on, and you can skip or bid and then just keep going. And this is the bike we decided to pick up. We overpaid for it like crazy because we had the money and I wanted a dirt bike. It's the Speedy. That's what it's called. Bring it back to your garage or your shop and start taking it apart. That's sandbox. In normal, you have like jobs to do, contracts, I guess, and you have to do specific things to it and put different parts on it. This is just a bike we bought. It isn't a contract, and my main concern, because I didn't want the video to be super long, so what I did was turned it into a YZ, basically. I mean, the bikes, or the dirt bikes at least, are really generic, and you have to do the same stuff to the dirt bike as you would do to a street bike, but the wheels were really bad, so we took off the wheels. They actually had two different rims on the bike, so we switch out the rims, switch out the tires for some knobbies, and change the plastics and all that stuff. Now, I didn't do really any engine work or anything like that. You can, but again, I just kind of showing you the game, first time playing. And it isn't really that difficult. The hardest part about it, because you can't really mess it up, the hardest part about it, and we do test it. We do test the bike at the very end. You can play on the bike, which is kind of cool, but you can't really mess it up because you really can only take it apart or put it together in the way it can be put together or taken apart. Probably the hardest part about it was that sometimes there was like this piece that was hard to see or find. And so I couldn't figure out what exactly was stopping me from continuing. You know what I mean? I mean, I work on my bikes, but I'm not a factory mechanic or anything. So yeah, but not too difficult. And then you can go to the store, the shop, and buy the parts you want. So we pick up a front and rear rim and tire, and then you have to go put the tire on the rim. It's kind of weird. We don't have an inner tube. No inner tube here. It just it kind of use the tire machine just like you would on a street bike tire. So kind of weird, but you know, the game is more made for a street bike, and then we have to go balance the tire and then grab it and put it back on. So I think the game is good. It's done pretty well. I feel like some of the stuff, they have some terms for some parts on the bike that are kind of weird. For example, the linkage under the shock, they call that like suspension part 2 or something. It's kind of weird, but I mean, for the most part, pretty good. I wish the dirt bike side of it was a bit better, but I understand that a motorcycle mechanic sim, and they had the street bikes in mind, right? So one thing I'm noticing is the swing arm is really weird. Really weird. I did not notice that when I was playing it. And I played, the video's about 9 minutes. I played for like 3 hours. It took a minute to get used to it, but overall it wasn't too bad. And here we're putting it back together. And we have the rims and the wheels back on. Just kind of showing you a quick version. And then I do change out the seat, the plastics. You can paint the seats. Now, this is the starting garage. You can actually get better garages with more benches and space and whatnot. And the painting The painting, I almost didn't do it because I couldn't figure it out. You have a painting table behind you or behind us, and it didn't work. I don't know. It wasn't working. So what I did was you can go outside, and I bought the bigger painting table, and then outside I was able to make it work. And I do show you that because the color of the bike was it was awful. This bike was in major need of some love, which we did give it. Whoever had it before hated dirt bikes. Did you see that seat? That seat is going to catch on in Supercross. It was for seat bouncing, like to the extreme. But yeah, here I'm trying to find the table. We do get the table here somewhere, and then we put it down and start painting. And I just did the fenders, but then I decided I didn't really like the way the bike was, so I actually took a good chunk of the parts off. We took the tank off, the battery, not the subframe, but we did take some more parts off just to get to the plastics. But here we're painting, and we probably should have made it a Honda because it does have the dual exhaust, but I don't know. It was already blue, so just decided to stay with the blue. And then I do show you in sandbox mode, you have like skills you have to have, and in this mode you can max them out right away, but you need them to finish the bike. Okay, so I do show you that, but I just wanted to make you aware of it because it is necessary. These are the skills I was talking about, and you just max them out. But if you want to play the other mode, I'm guessing it's a slower process, and you just kind of get them as you go. But here we're taking apart more stuff just to get to the plastics, as I already told you, and just, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. If you don't know anything about mechanics of the dirt bike, you know, for the games you play or the bike you have, try it out. It's kind of fun. Might learn something. And you can make whatever bike you want. You can make it however you want. Replace the parts. I mean, for me, I was just putting back the parts we had on the bike already because the parts were fine. But you can get different ones. I mean, you can rebuild or restore whatever bike however you want. It's completely customizable. It's really cool. Here we're getting the tank off. It was weird because I don't usually take off the valve, the shutoff valve. And you had to here, so that was one of those instances where I just couldn't figure out what I had to do. And we're adding the fluids back, engine oil, gas, and you had to grease the forks, I believe. And then it should be good to go. You have to like examine it or check the bike, and then you can go test it, which we do here very, very shortly. But here is our YZ 450, 250, whatever, YZ dirt bike. It looks pretty good, pretty sweet. Now we're gonna test it. The best physics ever for a dirt bike game, right? Yeah, not so much, but it's cool. It's in the game, you know. It's something added you can try out after you make your bike or whatever. It probably works better for the street bike. I mean, the game feels like it is a street bike game, so you know, whatever. But kind of cool. Get to build whatever you want, and yeah, pretty sweet. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. If you want more, let me know in the comments. We can do more. We can make a different bike, do a full rebuild, you know, tear the bike down to the frame and whatever. But yeah, let me know in the comments. But until the next video, take it easy.